happy Monday. So if you guys are catching me live for the first time, my name is Martina and I am your curvy self-love guide, empowering women to find self-love at any size. So today's video, I am talking about the do's and don'ts of full moon. So today is the full moon, January 17th, 2022, and today's full moon is the wolf moon. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but we're going to talk about mostly today on the do's and don'ts of the full moon. So before we get started on this, if you guys are watching live with me, please say hello so I can say hi back to you. And if you're watching on the replay, #replay, and I will make sure I come back on later and say hi to you then. You may hear my bulldogs snoring in the background. I think you probably can. They are napping right beside me. So, yeah, can you totally hear that? I can hear it. It's funny. They're having good naps this morning already. Okay, a couple little housekeeping things before we get started. If you guys are watching this on Facebook this morning, I would invite you to head on over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications for each time that I come live, which is Monday to Friday around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On my YouTube channel, you will find all things kind of mystical, magical, self-love type of things. Really just embracing my self-love at any size method, which are all the things that I have done to really step into my confidence and my power and really find that self-love of acceptance and respect of my body. So, you know, my YouTube channel has things on it like mindset work, mystic and holistic practices like yoga, meditation, mindful movement. Mindful eating is a really big part of my journey, and interviews with other like-minded women. There's just so much in that channel. There's almost 200 videos. I want to say that this week I will have 200 videos on YouTube, which is crazy to think. Never thought I would say that. So anyway, I'm going to bring up my video here and make sure I can say hi to anybody who's popping into my one feed. Let's see here. All right. So, that is that. So you guys, I wanted to talk to you guys today about the full moon and some do's and don'ts when you're working on full moon stuff, if it's something you do. So let me know in the comments if you do full moon rituals or routines or things that you do on full moon. And if you don't do things, let me know. And hopefully this video will inspire you to maybe start doing some things around full moon. We have a full moon once a month, right? And full moon is such a great time to just come back to, your intentions and things you're trying to do in your life, whether it's goals you have set for yourself or manifestations you're trying to put out into the universe, or, things that you're trying to do in regards to your self-care or your self-love journey. The full moon is such a good reminder of coming back to all those things and just kind of reigniting that kind of inner light or inner drive or inner passion that's going to help you to, make sure to just check in with yourself, right? And full moon is such a good time of month to do so, on just kind of to check in and just see how you're doing. Because, if you don't have those moments throughout your year to kind of come back and check in with how you're doing, and, things that are important to you and things that you want to do in this life, if you don't have those little checkpoints throughout your year to come back to assessing those things, then you're going to find yourself, the year is just going to be a big blur and you're not going to live intentionally, and it's going to probably feel hard to feel present and stuff like that. So I wanted to share with you guys my own moon kind of things that I like to do. And I think the really big thing is to, whatever you do with full moon, everybody is different, I feel. And I think the biggest part I want you guys to realize is that really to embrace intention over perfection, because we really, I'm sure social media likes to give us this image that, anyone who has anything to do with moon rituals or full moon stuff, they are going to be like, they're going to have everything laid out and it's going to be perfect and they're going to do all the things and it's going to be magical every single month. And I want you to just, first of all, know that that's not realistic. There will be some full moons that I will literally and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, but there will be some full moons where I'll literally forget that it's full moon and it will pass by. But there's other times where I do all the things. I pull out all the things. Like I make sure I charge so I'm going to be going into what I do, but I'm just telling you that it's really better to choose one thing and do it intentionally than trying to feel overwhelmed by doing all the things. So I just want to start by saying that it doesn't have to be overwhelming, and that's really not the point of it, right? So I'm going to start off by telling you guys 3 things that you should be doing on full moon if you aren't already. And these are just ideas. You could just choose one of these. You could choose all of them. You could add your own ideas. But these are just 3 things to really get you started. So the first thing that I love to do on full moons, which I try to do every day, which once again, not perfect, but is meditate. Meditate is such a good way to come back to the present moment, come back to the body, come back to the breath. And it doesn't have to be crazy. There is a million guided meditations available for free online. You can choose whoever you feel resonated to listen to. I have a lot of meditations on Insight Timer. Not a lot. I have some meditations on Insight Timer. I am a teacher on there. But you can also look on, like, Insight Timer is an app that I will say if you're not familiar with meditation, this app is beautiful. It's free. There's so many meditations, you will never listen to them all. So it's a really good resource. So meditate. You can choose to meditate for as little as 2 minutes, or you could just really connect to your breath. Just sitting and grounding yourself and connecting to your body and your breath without guiding meditation can also be a form of meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be this traditional sense of, sitting on the cushion with all your crystals and your oils and your, all your tricks and tips around you. It can be very simple. It could be you sitting in your chair in your living room or your kitchen and simply connecting to your breath for 2 to 5 minutes, right? So I would suggest trying to do that sometime throughout your full moon day. And the cool thing about full moon is that full moon energy can last a couple days, before, during, after. So if you find yourself missing the actual day, then it's okay to do things this whole kind of 3-4 days leading up to and after the full moon, because that energy is still high. And that's the point of the full moon, that really is why we kind of do these things. Is it's such an energetic kind of climactic point. Like it's the energy of the universe and the energy of the world is kind of at its peak. So that's why we do the things that we do, because the energy is so high around this time of the month. And so another thing, and I know if you've worked in the school system, or if you are a woman or man, energy is different around this time of month, right? I know I used to work in the school system, and the school system is crazy this time of month. It's just the energy is so high, and it's quite overwhelming, right? So another thing that we can do with full moon, some things you should be doing around full moon, is to cleanse. And cleansing is a really fun way to really embrace this kind of time, this energetic time point. And there's a couple different ways you can do this as well. And I'm not going to mention all of them, because there are so many ways that you can cleanse, either cleanse yourself or your space, your home, your, things around you, your objects, stuff like that. But a couple ways that I like to do cleansing is, the first way would be essential oils. I like to diffuse sage or Northern Lights black spruce, these cleansing oils, even lemon. Diffusing these kind of oils in your home is going to allow it to just be cleansed. You don't have to use the traditional methods of sage and a sage stick or a Palo Santo stick, but you can. That is another option, is to burn a Palo Santo stick and allow the smoke to cleanse your home. A couple tips when you're cleansing, we could go into a lot more detail with this, but cleansing, making sure that a window's open to allow the negative energy to leave the home, and just to clear that energy, right? Because that's the whole point of it, is to kind of clear that negative energy and to kind of keep the positive energy within the home, but letting go of those negative things. So oils, cleansing with oils or Palo Santo is a great way to do that. There's crystals like selenite that are actually cleansing all in themselves. So having those in your home too are really good things. And then my final tip for what to do around full moon is to cleanse. Or no, I already said cleanse, is to journal, to release. And so I like to release through journaling. You could find your own method that works for you. Some people do yoga to release things that no longer serve them during this time. Some people like to journal. I like to do both when I can. My favorite thing is to journal, especially around full moon. And what you would focus on when you're journaling around this time is releasing things that no longer serve you. So simply journaling and just writing down all the things that are no longer serving you and how you're going to set intentions for the upcoming month and things you're trying to manifest and stuff like that. But really focusing on letting go of the things that no longer serve you. So those are kind of my 3 do's. And so I want to go into, I'm already at like 10 minutes, so I'm going to go into the don'ts. These are things you should not do on full moon. The first thing is to don't start new things. It's really, if you read up on full moon at all, the energy is so high and kind of crazy around this time. If you start new things around this time, it just may feel really overwhelming and stressful, and it just may make you either stop doing it or fail. It may fail. It's just not a good time to start new things. So if you can help it, starting new things is really more around the new moon. And that's more in the beginning of the month, like around like the 4th, 5th, around this time of year. So it's really important to do that or to not do that. Don't start new things. And then our next thing is to not overwork. Because of the high energy, it can often feel like we should be doing all these things. And what we really need to be focusing on is really doing, not putting so much pressure on yourself, not feeling like you have to do all the things, and really just taking that step back today. And kind of during this week, like the energy of the full moon, really just not overcommitting, not feeling like you have to do certain things, like setting good boundaries this week. These are all good reminders of things that we shouldn't be doing. We should be setting those boundaries so we don't feel like overworking and stress. Overworking leads to stress, leads to overwhelm, and it's not a healthy place to be, right? So really try to not overdo it during full moon time. And then another thing we can do another thing that we shouldn't do, which I kind of touched on already, is to really focus on intention over perfection. Living intentively or like living with intention this week is really more important than trying to be perfect, trying to do all the things and making sure that everything is in order and you've done all the full moon things and you've done everything perfect. And we really go back to setting small intentions and living from intention and doing things with intention. If you're only doing one thing, do that with intention. Don't set yourself up for failure or overwhelm or stress by trying to just do all the things. Which really comes back to the overworking too, but really just choosing one thing if you feel like you can't, like if you are already feeling stressed and overwhelmed with the full moon, really starting to come back to that intention piece of just choosing one thing, the thing that you want to do most, and really just choosing to do that thing with intention. So those are kind of my 3 things of do's and don'ts for around full moon. There's a lot of full moon stuff I could share. Full moon stuff is really interesting, and I do really love to share about it. But going back to what the full moon represents right this time of year, the January full moon is the wolf moon. And so I'm going to sneeze maybe. No, I think it's gone. Wolf moon is to hang out with your wolf pack is what they say, or like hang out with your people. This is because wolf moon is when the wolves are most active. And so that is why it is called wolf moon. And the suggestion for that type of moon is to hang out with your people. So whether it be virtually or in person, just trying to maybe find time this week to do that. So anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys and that you enjoyed learning a little bit more about moon stuff. It's so much fun. So a couple of things before we pop out of here. If you are not in my community already, I have a group called Imperfectly Perfect You, helping women to find self-love at any size through many different holistic and mystic approaches. Join us in that community for lots of free challenges, support, empowerment, and just helping you to feel a part of a community that is here to support you and help you to shine brightly. And then one more thing before I pop out of here, you guys, it's running out of time. If you want to be in a book collaboration, I am putting together 22 inspirational stories of self-love and self-discovery. And this can be for anything from overcoming something in your life to finding, yourself through throughout your life. If it's really discovering who you are, or maybe you have a self-love journey of like really learning to love yourself and what that felt like before and what it feels like now. We have stories in there. I know a couple stories already. We have like an adoption story in there. We have like infertility story. Like it doesn't have to be specific to because really self-love and self-discovery is such a broad topic, right? Like even as we are growing and learning as humans, we go through things in our life that help us to discover who we are or help us to learn to love ourselves a little better through overcoming different obstacles and situations in our life. So I know a lot of people are really scared around the idea of sharing their story, or they have no idea what to share, or they feel like they don't have a story to share. I'm here to tell you that you do have a story to share, that we all do. You just have to really have, it's really having a community of people to help you to come bring that story out of you too. And that's what I want to create throughout this process. So you're going to be receiving worksheets and coaching to help you to define your story. And you're going to be having me beside you as we go through this process together. And it's going to be super fun. So the deadline to submit your kind of you're saying yes. So you need to say yes by end of January 31st, because we want to start writing our stories in February and having it sent off to publishing by end of March. So we want to get this going so we can release it in 2022. So if you want to say yes to this, just either shoot me a message or follow the link in the description of this video and jump on this opportunity. It's going to be super fun. And I don't know if I had it in the comments, but if you need a payment plan for this project, just because it's going to be a lot of content you're going to be receiving from me along with coaching, and you're going to be receiving copies of your book and all that kind of stuff. So if you need a payment option, you can just type in Magic VIP in the comments, or in the link of the description. When you go to reserve your spot, you can type in that code and it's going to give you some different ways that you can sign up for the project. So if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to talk to you about it, and it's going to be super fun. So anyway, you guys, I hope you have the best day, and we will